Good evening, everyone. Welcome to YPN's PechaKucha Night Volume 39, Bloom in the Capital. I'm Jordan Dunn.
And I'm Jennifer DeGroff. And together, we represent the Capital Region Chamber's YPN Young Professional Network. Together. Woo! We are so excited you are here.
When I'm not volunteering with YPN, I am the Marketing and Development Manager for Pride Commercial Appliance Service. We are a commercial kitchen appliance service company. I'm also a PKer, spring of 2024.
I have my own business called True Icon, speaking, coaching, and community workshops. And I am so excited because the whole thing on that is stay true to yourself and boldly grow, which is why I'm very excited for today of learning people's story of growth. So today we have Capital in Bloom. And why do we have that name? Because the Albany Tulip Festival, just checking this, the Albany Tulip Festival was right for the iconic Tulip Fest. So what are we doing? And tonight is special because of that. So that's where individuals and communities flourish, think, grow. And we're here to witness stories tonight in full bloom.
Tonight also marks the midpoint of our Executive Mentorship Program. Some of our mentors and mentees are in the audience tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you. And more importantly, thank you for participating in this program.
And before we start the clock, a massive thank you to our presenting sponsors, National Grid and TransFinder.
And to our supporting sponsors, CDTA, Community Bank, Ellis, and Nice Tech. We also want to shout out our event partners, Revolution Hall for this beautiful space, and Agora Media for the Tech Magic, and Heckraiser Productions for capturing tonight's stories of growth. Let's give them all a round of applause.
And as we get ready to open our minds to each of our speakers tonight, we want to express a moment of gratitude for our presenters tonight. Their willingness to step up on the stage and give their PK challenge. Challenge accepted. So a special shout out to our steering committee for YPN, our communications committee, and for everyone here tonight for showing up at this sold out event.
And now it is our pleasure to introduce tonight's MC. Some of you may already know her and loved her last year's on PK stage, Amari Duncan.
Round of applause.
Amari is a passionate nonprofit professional dedicated to empowering the next generation of leaders. Whether through her role as Director of Philanthropic Impact at Girls Inc., her service as a Vice Chair of the Board of Directors for KIPP, Capital Region Schools, or her mentorship at her high school alma mater, Amari is deeply committed to uplifting youth. Known for her energy, her bold personality, and strong commitment to the Capital Region, she is actively engaged throughout the community. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage this evening.
Can you hear me? All right, I don't even need a mic, but you know. My name is Amari, if you don't know me, and I'm so excited to be your MC for tonight for PechaKucha Bloom in the Capital. Okay, so quick show of hands. Who has been to PechaKucha before? Okay, and who's first time tonight? All right, a good mix. Okay, well, either way, I decided I was going to tell you guys about it, so it really doesn't matter. Okay. So whether you come every year or this is your first time, PechaKucha translates to chit chat. It was created in Tokyo as a way to keep presentations short, engaging, and honestly a little less painful. And rumor has it, it was about men. If you know, you know, okay? But the format is very simple. It's 20 slides in 20 seconds each. That's it. Your slides move automatically. So once you start, you're along for the ride, which means every single presenter tonight has 6 minutes and 40 seconds to get their story across. So, and that's whether they're ready or not, but our presenters tonight are very much so ready. Okay, now hold up, this is my show.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay. Okay, what started as a small event has turned into a global phenom happening in hundreds of cities around the globe. And tonight we're continuing that tradition here in the capital region with our 9th annual PechaKucha Night. And we have, thanks. Yeah, shout out. We have an incredible lineup of 7 speakers all exploring this theme, Bloom in the Capital. Now, Jen did such a great job explaining this, the growth, Tulip Fest. But when they told me, I turned into Miranda Priestley. I said, florals for spring? Groundbreaking, okay? But listen, in all seriousness, these presentations do such a great job talking about growth and exploring the theme of Bloom in the Capital. So I'm excited for you all to experience them. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Please make yourself at home here, okay? If you need a drink, go to the bar. Tip your bartenders, even if it's your work card, especially if it is your work card, okay? Go to the bathroom if you need more food, whatever it is. This is not the SATs. You can get up and move freely, okay? But when our presenters are speaking, please keep the chit-chat to a minimum. And by minimum, I mean none, okay? Pay attention, laugh at the joke. You see how I'm adding the jokes and you're laughing and we're doing this together? Show that same type of love to them tonight, okay? It's extremely challenging to come up here, take so much effort to plan your presentation, to practice it, to know when your slides are going. So just show them as much love as you can. I will be your guide to keep the energy high, okay? So, are we ready to get this started? I was gonna do this weird, I say Pecha, you say Kucha, but just think about that for a second, okay? All right, so somebody has to go first, and we're setting the tone strong tonight. I'm excited to introduce you to our very first speaker, Kamali Brown. Now, if you've seen her LinkedIn, you'll see titles like Chaos Coordinator, Change Agent, and Problem Solver. So I think we're in very good hands to get us started. She also teased we might meet her family and that everything will be answered. It was very ominous. I don't know what that means, but I think that means her family's gonna bring the energy. Is that right, family? Yeah, okay. That is not what that means. That's all right, that's all right. Kamali Brown has a long history of community impact, is the founder and CEO of GBGE Consulting, where she helps people navigate change and find growth, even when the path isn't clear. Please welcome Kamali Brown to the stage.
Okay, so in Amari's defense, my mom and my aunt were gonna be here, and at the last minute they kind of changed, so they're watching on YouTube. My family is Caribbean and very spicy. So that was what you were going to learn, but they're not here to make all the noise. So they're making noise at home that you can't hear. When I was putting this presentation together, one of the things that I found out that was really cool was I didn't realize that my life was actually equipping me for what I do today. So I'm really excited to share a little bit about my story. And before I begin, I'm going to tell my young people, Ari and Justice, I love you. So this is for them. They are my world, and I'll get to share a little bit about that. So Richard, wherever you are, I'm ready. Okay, so when you think about blooming, you see this beautiful picture behind me and the flowers. It looks effortless, doesn't it? But when we think about blooming, we're often not thinking about what happens for that flower to be what it is. And we're gonna talk about that. So the seed, as you look at this seed, it's very unassuming. You can't tell what it is. You just know that there's potential there, there's hope there, and in the beginning of anything, it's just an idea, a hope, and questions that you don't even know how to ask, but that's what the seed brings. As we know, growth does not happen in the light. It happens in the dark, where no one is gonna see it, and oftentimes you're alone. A lot of things are happening underneath that nobody can see because they don't know your story. They don't know what's happening. But growth is happening, and a lot of times it doesn't look beautiful and you can't see the success. But breakthrough happens, right? This is the part that's hard when that seed breaks. Pressure happens in order for that seed to break. And the thing that protected the plant can no longer go with it because there's another stage that happens after that. And we can't get there if the seed doesn't break. And so this is my Ari, my firstborn, my first gift. And this is where the story goes from a narrative to real life. Because change oftentimes comes with a name, a date, and actions that have to come with it that you might not be prepared for. When you see this room, it looks like a fun art room for kids. When I look at this room, it reminds me of the day that I heard that my daughter was diagnosed with autism. So that was a hard day for me. It definitely changed the rest of my life. It came with questions, disappointment, some frustration, because honestly, the picture that I had in my mind of what motherhood was gonna look like, it definitely wasn't that. There was no one in my family who had ever had experience with autism, so I was the first. This was a really hard place for me. I felt like the dreams and desires that I had for my children were not gonna be. And so it really took a long time for me to stop thinking about what wasn't gonna happen, and what I needed to embrace to make the best for her. And so for me, it came with a lot of prayer and a lot of help and support from my family, because I had to figure out, what do I do with this? Because giving up was not an option. So I decided to pivot and figure out, what is it that I need to learn? What does she need? What are the resources? What are the education? Who can help me? And so I shifted my mindset to being frustrated to, okay, let's do this. Because if we're going to do this, we're going to go all out, because that's how my family is. That's how we do. So this was the start of figuring out how to make adjustments, because there were regular pivots. And I didn't have all the answers, and it wasn't smooth, but we were definitely moving forward. But as you know, life is life, right? So then another thing came. This human being, my Justice, who is my second born, at the 3-month appointment, I take him to the doctor, and the doctor looks at me and she says, you need to take him to the pediatric ophthalmologist right away. I didn't know what she saw. She didn't tell me, but by her voice, I knew that it was serious. So I take him, they do an exam, and he basically says to me, you need to get to Boston, where the eye specialists are. And I'm like, when do we need to get there? And he's like, tomorrow. So we went the next day. The doctor confirmed that he was diagnosed with congenital glaucoma, which basically meant if they didn't do this surgery, that he could be blind for the rest of his life. So we were there, we had the surgery done, and again, it was another faith moment, because I had to watch them put my 3-month-old under anesthesia. I will never forget that day. It was a lot of praying, it was a lot of crying, it was a lot of hugs, but you know what? I had to have faith. If these kids were mine, I knew that there was a reason they belonged to me, and there was, that God had a plan. So he had a surgery at 3 months and another at 9. One of his eye is 20/20. The other one, we're still believing God that he's going to be able to see. But thank you, sister. He is full of joy, that one. He is something else. And every time I look at him, I think about faith. This right here represents the time that nobody gets to see. The figuring out, the try, failing, and adjusting, the going to the doctors, and all those different things. But in that time, seed is being planted, roots are growing, and bloom is coming. So fast forward, this is my RA. She just turned 13. She absolutely loves being in the school play. She loves music. and I'm always there to cheer her on. She definitely challenges me every step of the way, and she knows what she wants. That girl is going to be something awesome. This is my son, Justice. He is 11 going on 40. He is a super smart, on the honor roll, and he is such a joy. He makes me laugh all the time. This journey has taught me that blossoming and blooming rarely looks beautiful. But if you don't give up and you keep going and have the resources that are out there, because there are resources out there, you can be and do anything. And so these are my seeds that I'm planting, and they're growing and they're developing. And I realize that change it's not just what I do, it literally is my life every day. And that's how I can help other people bloom as well. So thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. I love that. Thanks, Kamali. All right, quick question to you all. Anyone signed up for a marathon, a 5K, triathlon? Wow, I don't even know my next line anymore. Okay, we are all here together as a unit, because I'm not either. But listen. There's someone in here who probably is. Okay, our next speaker is someone who doesn't just cheer from the sidelines, he's actually done it all. A Capital Region native, James Rubino is the owner of Rubino Home Ventures. He's a former collegiate baseball player, a fitness enthusiast, and someone who's done everything from triathlons to 75 hard. I think his presentation's probably gonna be us like doing push-ups or like jumping jacks or something. Okay. So when he's not planning his next physical challenge, he's channeling that same discipline into entrepreneurship, property management, and serving on the board of the Capital Region Real Estate Investors Association. Say that 5 times fast. Tonight, his presentation is titled Love Letter to the Capital Region, where he shares gratitude for the people and moments that have shaped him. So everyone, let's welcome James to the stage tonight.
How's it going, everyone? My name is James. Thank you very much, Amari. Super excited to be here. Very blessed to be chosen for this opportunity. When they first had asked me to do this, I had to learn how to pronounce PechaKucha first. And then I realized, kind of the format and everything, and did a deep dive in just kind of a heart-to-heart on how the Capital Region has helped shape me. And I ultimately kind of broke it up into 3 areas. You have the people, organizations, and moments, and each have their kind of setting as it relates to that, and it's been something that, again, I'm truly grateful, born and raised in the Capital Region, and excited to share this, all of you, tonight. So, let's do it. Born and raised in the Capital Region, where I grew, stumbled, and became who I am today. People, organizations, and moments were to help shape me, and I'm truly grateful for how this region's beauty has impacted me. I look forward to passing it forward to the next generation, and I hope to reflect that upon you all tonight. Let's start with the people. Whether it's something I overheard, a single conversation, or a longtime person who knows me well, these people have made a tremendous impact on me. Some may not even know it, while others I've thanked countless times. Either way, their impact on me has been immeasurable. Now let's share a few of them. Brian can connect to anyone and with anyone. Whether it's something he overheard, asked a question, Brian always made sure that people met who they needed to meet. He taught me that networking isn't about me, it's about helping others grow, both personally and professionally. From him, I learned the best networking is coming from putting others first. Anthony was my first boss growing up. He valued my opinion, even as a kid in my early 20s. Trusted my ideas, asked for my perspectives, and never acted like he knew it all. From here, allowed me to create my most creative and confident self. I've ultimately allowed to seeing that leadership, seeing that you value perspectives despite someone's age or perceived credentials. Professor Kerwin was my accounting professor at Hudson Valley. He stayed early, came late, and always made sure that we understood the material. You could tell he genuinely wanted us to succeed. Seeing this growth allowed me to realize that when you truly care about something, you always go the extra mile and make it worth it. Carl is my best friend's father, taught me something I'll never forget. Despite his high stress and demanding role in his company, he always made family a priority. Never missed a game, coached his kids' teams, was present in every moment. Seeing this balance and the success showed me that true success is always putting family first, no matter what. My parents, being an only child, I had a special relationship with my parents growing up. They taught me that life isn't about how much money you have, but how much support, care, and love you have. Seeing this allowed me to pursue whatever life has to offer and take chances. Well, that's what life's all about. Yeah, we have that one sappy slide. This is Pippa, my 10-pound bundle of joy, part Ewok. Pippa has truly shown me what unconditional love is, being able to come home, let go of everything that has happened prior, and just be present. Life is truly more than the result of a single outcome. The skill here, unconditional love. People are one part that have shaped me. However, the community in the educational sector, nonprofits, and ultimately becoming an entrepreneur in my business journey have helped affected me. I found purpose, belonging, and direction in these, and they've allowed me to share stories and be the best version of myself while growing my companies. LaSalle Institute was my high school. At the time, it was an all-boys Catholic military school right down the road from here. This is where I learned the value of hard work, discipline, and dedication to my craft. It was where I took pride in what I did and formed lifelong friendships. I became a man with purpose and drive because of the school. After some last-minute college changes, I ultimately saw Hudson Valley as a detour. But looking back, it was an overall amazing experience. The community, coaches, and overall friends became amazing partners, amazing friends, and it ultimately had my jump start for my future at Marist. And the lesson here, don't ever judge a book by its cover. Big Brothers Big Sisters played a phenomenal role. I had the opportunity to be a part of that a few years back, and allowed me to see that how early mentorship can help change a child's path despite their environment. It ultimately gave me gratitude for my own journey and made me realize that mentorship and belief in mentorship is one of the most powerful gifts you can give someone. I had the opportunity to tour the Ronald McDonald House a few years back, and I met a girl there who was undergoing cancer treatments for months, and she ended up yet being the most positive, warm, and overall loving person in the room. Despite her life-threatening circumstances, she still chose positivity. The lesson here, always be positive and do what's right, and life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. EO is an entrepreneurs organization that I'm part of, built of business owners and entrepreneurs. Since joining, I've learned that the stresses, day-to-day challenges, and things along those lines we face as entrepreneurs daily are actually very common and all part of the growth process. The skill here, you're never alone. Capital Region Chamber and YPN played incredible roles for me, both before starting my companies while also building them. They allowed me to build my companies while also feeling a true sense of community here in the Capital Region. And since then, as you can see, I formed lifelong friendships that'll last a lifetime, and truly grateful for that. People and organizations are two portions that would help me and shape me, but some of the most powerful lessons have come from moments. Moments where I was tested, moments where I was forced to grow, moments where I was truly fight or flight. Moments that allowed me to be the best version of myself that I could be, and truly grateful. My first property for my Rubino Home Ventures company was supposed to be the start of the empire. Unfortunately, 6 months in, due to local regulations, I had to shut down. As a young entrepreneur, I'm sure you can imagine, this is like my worst nightmare coming to life. But this really taught me one special lesson, resilience. Certainly can't appreciate the sun, never stood in the rain, is what I always say. 75 hard, as Amari said, is a accountability challenge. You have to complete a certain amount of tasks each day for 75 days straight. And on day 30, I unfortunately missed the most easiest task of them all, taking a progress photo. So unfortunately, I had to start over. But I could have stopped and I could have quit, but that's not the cloth that was cut, and ultimately went forward and continued it. Last year, I actually got dragged into doing a Lake George Triathlon relay, doing the swimming portion, even though I wasn't a pro swimmer. So ultimately, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. You can't cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. So this past year, I did it myself, or actually this year, I'm doing it myself, and we're looking forward to that. But overall, every person, organization, and moment in the Capital Region has helped shape me to who I am. And that is why I have a goal to start a nonprofit for underprivileged youth, to give them mentors, direction, and opportunities to allow them to be the best version of themselves. Because every kid deserves a chance to be the best version of themselves they can be. Thank you.
Yes, people taking advantage of getting up. It's okay. Yes, Gabby. Is anyone here with the company tonight? Feel free to shout it out. Who's here tonight? Unity House, Proctor's. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm a fundraiser. I'm just taking note of who's in the building, okay? But now go ahead. Go ahead and hide your favorite employee, because Chris Walwrath is in the building, okay? Walwrath Recruiting is in the building. Our next speaker is Chris Walwrath. He is the Vice President of Growth for Walwrath Recruiting. And I just want to say, when your name is on the company, you really can make up titles. Vice President of Growth? Listen, I say that with respect. I'm the Director of Philanthropic Impact. No one knows what that means, okay? Every time I'm like, yeah, I do development. I'm the development director, okay? But when Chris isn't vice presidentially proceeding over growth, he has a very impressive resume. He is a 2025 Albany Business Review 40 Under 40 honoree. He is the co-chair of the Campus Connect through YPN. He is the executive board member of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Yeah, and he does all of this while creating a more inclusive and high-impact workplaces in the Capital Region. Please welcome Chris to the stage.
Okay, here we go. Honestly, when you say that, yes, absolutely. You know, also you did forget one though. I am also on the board of Capital Region ATD, Associated Talent Development. My fam, they're all in here, as the VP of DEI. So she's new, she's improved, still doing it. But I am so excited to be here. This is something when I came last year, I was like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to figure that out. Last year's speakers definitely inspired me. This is not easy, so I appreciate the support. Hi, Mom, you're not here, so I'm kind of mad, but I know you're watching. And yes, I did make my own title, you're right. So without further ado, here we go. This is me. And yes, the material is correct. When I was little, though, I was absolutely terrified of how I presented myself. I was extremely insecure, and when I would walk into a room, I honestly hid in the corner, which you wouldn't probably believe, but it is the truth. And it always kind of reminds me when I see that boy that he has come so far to where he is today. But rainbows, come on, rainbows, yes. But what I think about rainbows is actually a lot to do with my faith. Every time I've seen one in a difficult moment, it means that a storm has passed and that there is a pot of gold at the end. And that just means it's a part of the process. Keep going. And with that are some values that keep me going, which is to stay kind, stay humble, and never think that you're better than anybody else, because you're not. And you're not perfect, because no one can be perfect. So you just have to remind yourself that you're grounded in your faith or whatever it may be, and that's what you really need to carry on. But this is the first photo that I took or got taken of when I moved to New York City. And that was what changed my life. I always wanted to move to New York City. I promised my aunt that when she's from there and she lives there, that I was going to be hailing the taxi cabs. And this was the first photo that I got taken, but through that journey, again, a lot happened. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I worked for a startup, and then I fell into recruiting, which is kind of how it happens. You don't go to school to be a recruiter, but once you hit that and you find that magic, you just figure it out. But through that journey, I landed at a few different agencies, and I rose fast. I won awards. I got definitely the recognition that I thought I wanted, but in reality, the recognition really didn't feel what I thought it was gonna feel like, because in that photo, while yes, I'm smiling, I am absolutely exhausted and drained and absolutely wanting to get out. But what I did gain was a family, and through my work experience, I got to meet all different types of people that came from different walks of life and different faith and different religion and different experiences, and those people inspired me, because I was like, I can just learn so much from so many other people. From this small town growing up, I saw a lot of the same people. When I moved to New York, I saw a lot of the different types of people, and I got to take from their journey and bring it into my own. So what I actually started to feel was kind of imposter syndrome. Yes, I've been out as a member of the LGBTQ plus community since I was 16, but I never authentically got to show up as myself in my work environment. And this is my 5th grade teacher, Lori Johnson. And when I moved back home, she was the first person that I saw, because she taught me how to challenge the status quo. And we got to write a paper in 5th grade. And I carry that through me, because that paper changed my perspective of how I was going to live my life and how I was going to push through. But this photo is a trip that I took with my mom. We went to Aruba. It's one of our favorite places. We're actually going on Saturday for a week. But at that, we're taking off. We're getting off work. But yeah, my point is, there was a moment where we went on a trip, and I told her, I'm not happy, and I think I want to move home, because New York is exhausting me. And even though I climbed and I got promoted and I got the jobs and I got the titles and I did the things, it wasn't serving me joy anymore. It was draining me to the point where I wasn't leaving my apartment. I wasn't being the Chris that everyone knew. So I packed up my stuff and I said, get me out. And I literally I was still working for an employer at the time, but I could kind of see that layoffs were happening. I worked in technology. This was probably around 2024. So I knew that the time was coming, but I said, I'm ready to come home. And this was the first networking event that I went to, and I got to actually stand in my power and be myself, and I got to be in front of people that actually saw me for who I was and how I could show up authentically. And that's when it all kind of changed for me. I was able to actually realize that I didn't have to be anything other than myself. And what I used to run away from, which was being from this small town and being that scared little boy, that I could actually be the man that I became in New York and just exist. So I moved back home to Saratoga Springs, and I put myself out there and got to meet with, look, it's Brian, he was in the last one. And I got to meet other types of people that just understood my journey and said, go for it, Chris, you got this. Like, having that said to your face changes your perspective. Having people amplify your voice. And that's what that person does every day. That's all I got to say about this slide, honestly, because that's what she does. She said, go for it. And I have been able to do all those things that you just named off because she believed in me. Hey, Richard. So through that work, we were nominated and honored with 40 Under 40, but what Richard has taught me is it's about ecosystems, and it's about creating opportunity for each other. It's about investing not in yourself, but in others, and in that you will get it back. And that is what, again, has changed the game about hiring and about putting people in jobs. No, it's about creating ecosystems and development of our workforce to then enable further succession planning of the future of our region. And that's what it's about. It's not about a job, it's about development. And that is a game changer for me. So the people that are in this photo are very special because they are actually all multi-generational business owners in their own sake, meaning their families are either in the leadership of their current companies, or they're like 2nd gen, 3rd gen, 4th gen. It's a Stride, the organization is called Stride, and this specific group is something new that I think is going to change the region. So this is just a photo of me because, looks good. But my point is, I want everyone, oh yeah, hey, yeah. I just want everyone to know that in order to bloom, you just gotta be you, truly, and you just have to authentically show up, because everyone else will then pour back into you when they're like, oh, they're thriving, they're just it. And that's it.
Alrighty, everyone, how are we feeling? How was Chris tonight? So fun. These go by really fast and furious. When I say it's 6 minutes and 40 seconds, it really is that quick. All right, up next, I actually have the pleasure of knowing this person in real life. And if you've been to just about any Capital Region event, I am sure you know her as well. She shows up and she supports everyone. She's always fabulously dressed, just like myself. And she's a mentor right here in the YPN program. While you're about to learn so much about her in the next few minutes, I just want to say that she is so much more than could ever be fit into a PechaKucha presentation. From building her own fitness brand for over a decade, to her newest role at Caruso Electrical, to performing as an award-nominated actor, she truly does it all. Please welcome Janine Tromboli.
I love you. I love a lot of people in this room. And, you know, when I was trying to put this together, I mean, it's, 20 seconds, 20 slides. It's like, God, it's hard. And I just kept going back to my life story. And I'm like, how the hell am I going to tell my life story in 20 seconds, 20 slides? But it just kept, every draft, it kept coming back. And you know what? I think it's because this is the last time I want to tell it. I'm saging the room because there is so much more ahead for me, and I finally chose to believe it. And I'm going to get teary, and then I'm not going to be able to read this, which I couldn't memorize because it's my life story. But Richard, let's do this. At 53 years old, I have already lived several lives. I am many things: mother, actor, mentor, strategic business leader, and fashion lover. At one point, I thought I had to choose. My journey is teaching me that I, like all of you, am limitless. Born in small-town Ilion, New York, I had a vivid imagination. I frequently got in trouble for taking off when no one was looking, and on more than a couple occasions, the neighbors had to go searching for me. I was strong-willed and independent. At around age 8, it was discovered I could sing and act, and straight through to college, everyone just assumed I would end up on Broadway. I graduated college with a BFA in musical theater, moved to the city, and 9 months later found I was pregnant. Parenthood was not in my plan, but I chose to be a mother. I moved here to Albany, got married, and spent a record hot summer nervously waiting for Michael to be born. I was scared. I wish I could go back and give that girl a hug. Eventually, I found the local professional theater scene by scouring the phone book and newspapers. This is in the 90s, you guys. During this time, I also got divorced, remarried, and had Marielle, who's not here, she couldn't find a parking spot, Marcus, and Martin a little later on. I also grew my lifelong passion for fitness. When I realized my second husband was not going to be the breadwinner of the family, I turned my fitness passion into a career, melding my teaching skills with management roles at local gyms, and I got certified as a strength coach. My career grew, and my marriage dissolved. I spent 3 depleting years in and out of family court. I had said goodbye to theater years earlier, and now, with nothing to lose because I'd lost everything already, I decided to start my own business. Real Fit Life. Fitting fitness into real life, I began writing for the Times-Union, a blog under the same name. I joined the Capital Region Chamber. The connections and exposure brought me business, and I took my group fitness programming anywhere I could, rolling that suitcase filled with gym equipment all over the Capital Region. Thank you, Walmart. Until I grew the business enough for Real Fit Life to have its own home.
2,000 square feet. It was beautiful. My vision manifested until the pandemic closed our doors and the world shut down and life slowed down and everyone, including me, changed in some way. Closing Real Fit Life's doors for good was not an easy decision until the moment it was. I found a job as an administrative assistant for an electric company, not my dream job, but it gave me the security I needed till I figured out what was next. Well, surprise, it turns out running an electric company was not that different from running mine. So I quickly elevated to operations manager and over the next 4 years built a new career in the trades. I never could have envisioned it. This newfound success had me asking what else is out there, like little me who ran away to explore, and 30-year-old me who decided to risk everything and start my own business, and 40-something me who decided to just up and close my business. I was asking, my heart was asking, what's next? Last June, I stood before many people, probably in this room tonight, at the YPN Executive Mentorship Closing event and announced my intention to discover the next chapter in my career. Saying it out loud is scary, but it's the push I need to say it's done, we're doing this. After the excitement, reality. For the first time in decades, I had to craft a resume, fill out applications, and I faced a lot of rejection. I experienced a roller coaster of emotions, doubt, insecurity, till I was sobbing at my dining room table. What is wrong with me? Every life journey has taught me life-altering lessons. One I wish I'd learned sooner is that the thing that will help you bloom fullest is community. Just like flowers need rain, sun, fertile ground, we need people propping us up to remind us who we are until we remember for ourselves. And when I was done feeling sorry for myself, I got really clear. I took that energy and put it into self-examination and self-affirming love. There is nothing wrong with me. I just need to find my people, the place where I can be me in every way. I knew in my gut those people in that place existed. So it's September at an Albany Business Review event. I'm speaking with a panelist about electric, and I'm looking for the next thing. And he points across the room and says, "That's Angelo Caruso with Caruso Electrical." Like the universe was saying, "Janine, go talk to him." So I did. And I asked him, "What does your company need right now?" And on November 17th, I started my new role as the first procurement manager at Caruso Electrical. Thank you. And a company I love, where I feel supported, seen, championed, and where there is room for me to continue to bloom. And I've continued to engage with community, mentoring Jamie back there in the YPN Executive Mentorship Program this year, coaching some energetic 3rd to 5th grade girls for the Girls Gone Strong Spring 5K, and I'm on the engagement committee for the Women's Business Council. And I'm performing again. Allie. I started back up when I closed Real Fit Life. Being on stage is a big part of who I am. I'm all these things. It turns out I don't have to choose. They all fit perfectly together. I can't wait to see what blooms next.
I have a surprise for you. Okay, under one of your chairs, there is an envelope. I'll wait. This is the fitness James was supposed to do. Flip the chairs, check maybe your neighbor. Do we have a winner? Woo! Okay. Inside. Oh, okay. Lots going on here. I wasn't aware that there was. Oh, Ooh, okay, just in. There are 2 envelopes under your chairs. Okay, inside that envelope, there is a ticket to the next upcoming YPN event. So you get to come back and see us again. All right, for the rest of you, don't worry. There is more where that came from. And by more, I don't mean more. I mean more online where you can buy your ticket to the next YPN event. Okay, right, Mark? He said 2 was enough. 2 is more than I knew. All right, so to keep us going, our next speaker may be a Capital Region transplant, but he has shown our community so much love, we've decided to claim him as one of our own. Our next speaker is Ezra P. Scott, Jr. He is currently serving as a special assistant at the New York State Department of Public Service, a former Niagara Falls City Council member, founder of the Niagara Falls Peacemakers, and founding member of the Albany Black Chamber of Commerce. Just to name a few things, his resume was like a CVS receipt. I was like, I don't know which ones to pick and choose. I asked Ezra for a fun fact, and he told me he used to play the drums. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, are you gonna play something? He's like, no, like, I haven't played in a really long time. I was like, oh, okay, well, so if someone here can teach Ezra how to replay the drums, we could have a musical, like, aspect to this next year. So find him afterwards, but in the meantime, let's hear more about his story. Ezra?
Greetings, everyone. How y'all doing today? So I could definitely use some help on the drums, so thank you for putting that out there. Did anyone watch the NCAA men's basketball tournament this week? Anybody? All right, so with that being said, I want to give a shout out to my friend, Roddy Gale Jr. from Niagara Falls, New York, my hometown. He's a national champion with the Michigan Wolverines men's basketball team. Can we give him a round of applause? And with that said, my apologies to any UConn fans, all right? So can we give them a sympathy clap, please? But on a serious note, I say that because Roddy Gale is proof that even in difficult soil, something great can grow. And with that being said, let's start. If you stand at Niagara Falls at night looking across the river, the lights are bright, it's alive, then you turn to the American side, fewer lights, but once was the honeymoon capital of America. It's a tale of 2 cities, Niagara Falls, Ontario, and Niagara Falls, New York. Same river, 2 countries. That contrast reflects many Rust Belt communities across the state and the country. And I come from a city that taught me something early. When the soil is difficult, you don't quit. You learn how to grow, you adapt to what you're given, and you learn what it takes to make that soil more fertile, because growth doesn't happen by accident. My family left Alabama and came north for opportunity. Factories meant jobs, stability, a future, but history sent parts of our family down different paths. Years later, I learned those paths led some of my family to the capital region. Sometimes the seeds of our future are planted long before we see them. Then factories began to leave, chasing cheaper labor, cheaper energy. Jobs disappeared, factories had to adjust, families had to adjust, and communities like mine were left dealing with blight and poverty, trying to figure out what came next. A thriving community shifted to apathy. Seasons change. Niagara Falls also became known for something else, the Love Canal, a place that forced the community to confront difficult truths about environment, responsibility, and neglect. People had to fight to be heard and fight to be protected. Difficult soil. And in many ways, my story began in difficult soil too. I was born with severe ear infections that delayed my speech and learning. Doctors treated them like routine childhood infections. But my mother, the queen that my father married, the beautiful queen, knew something wasn't right. She kept asking questions. She kept advocating. Eventually, she got me to see a specialist. Another delay, and I could have had severe learning and speech challenges. Before I could speak for myself, someone was fighting already for my future and planting seeds. And that taught me the power of someone seeing good in you and speaking life into you. Our words and our actions are impactful on others. Those early years shaped how I move through the world today. I learned to observe, to listen first, not after. I know what it feels like to be counted out. So I learned to see what's good in the people and the environments that I'm around. Sports taught me another lesson. Keep your feet moving, because momentum is built through persistence. You don't always see the progress right away, but every step compounds. And if you keep your feet moving brick by brick and step by step, things shift. This built grassroots work and built me for grassroots work. When kids picked at my challenges, my dad would say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And for a brief season, I stepped into a boxing ring. And boxing teaches you something quickly. It's not about how hard you hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving. Because no matter what happened yesterday, seasons change. So when others left Niagara Falls, I stayed. I ran for city council. I started the Niagara Falls Peacemakers, showing up, listening, and building, creating spaces where people feel seen and feel heard and supported. Because communities don't grow by chance, they grow through investment. Eventually, I arrived to another season. I came to Albany, working on New York's clean energy transition, ensuring access to safe, reliable utility service at just and reasonable rates, and affordability, helping people stay in their homes and stay connected through programs like EEAP. Coming to the capital region, I thought I knew no one. Turns out I had roots here all along: family, community, and connection. Sometimes your foundation is already in place before you even realize it. People often ask me, how's Albany treating me? And I tell them it's not about how Albany treats me, it's about how I treat Albany. How we show up matters. How we engage matters. Because we shape our communities and they shape us. And I've come to believe that a connected community is a protected community. That sparked Albany professionals under 40 and friends creating a third space. Being new to Albany, what I couldn't do alone was possible with the right team. That's collective effort, making the soil fertile. And in just over a year, we've made connections, mentorship, created opportunity, and donated over $7,000 back into the community together with those that have attended. I arrived here at a remarkable time. Albany elected its first black mayor. Let's go. A moment that signaled change, possibility, and new leadership. It's time to turn the lights back on. Let me hear y'all say it. And people are starting to believe that again. Looking back, I realized something. Communities go through seasons, just like people. Growth, struggle, rebuilding. And now as a father, I think about what we plant today because someone else will have to leave, will have to live with what we leave behind 7 generations from now. You have the winter. Nothing looks like it's growing, but beneath the surface, there's work happening, roots forming, foundations building, and one conversation at a time, one connection at a time, you have the spring. You start to see signs, and then you see the bloom. Growth doesn't happen and doesn't start when people see it. It starts beneath the surface, and the work, and the investment, and the people. Long before recognition, there was effort. And when I look at the capital region today, I believe we are entering a season of bloom. So let's invest, let's connect, let's build, because it starts with how we show up for each other every day. Because even in difficult soil, we can bloom together. Thank you.
Alrighty, everyone, before we bring up our next speaker, I wanted to take a moment to recognize some of the people in this room who made tonight possible. This event is made possible by the Capital Region Young Professionals Network, and the work they do goes far beyond a night like tonight. And right now, I hear we're at the halfway point of the mentorship program. Is there any mentors, mentees in the building? Give us a wave, give us a wave. Okay. Thank you to the mentors for donating your time back, and the mentees for honestly wanting to grow. It's not easy to say hey, help me. So shout out to y'all. I also want to give a shout out to our YPN co-chairs tonight, our mentorship co-chairs, where they're at, Jordan and Jen and Gladys and Brad. And then one big round of applause to Julia Wagger. Let's give her a round of applause for putting tonight together. Because when we talk about third spaces and like creating programs specifically for like young people to help us give back and grow, it's just so important. So proud to know each of you. And that brings us perfectly to our next speaker. Allison Wilcox is the CEO of Double H Ranch, a seriously fun camp serving children and families living with serious illness. Her journey has been shaped by a lifetime of caregiving, resilience, and a deep commitment to youth development and mentorship, which continues to guide her work today. Tonight, she'll be sharing how those experiences led her to where she is and why giving back matters. So let's welcome Allison to the stage.
My emotional support folder, which is holding my notes tonight. One of my favorite titles is Nana, and I just wanted to shout out that I got 2 new grandchildren in the last 5 weeks. So I just want to, thank you. So a shout out to the next generation, Gemma, and then Arthur and Oscar, who were born just 8 weeks apart, and I just saw very recently, and to all my family in Canada and across the country watching, and to my team in the back table there. So thank you for being here. Okay, let's go. So this story is about how youth programs shaped me and how I ended up in a place that was a place that I'd always hoped and would have made a big difference for my family. When I was just 6 months old, right after this picture, my father drowned in a boating accident. My mom did not have a safety net or a college education. She took in college students to help pay the bills. Fortunately, she met my new dad, Brad, who was one of the students. They married and had 3 more children. So we now had Abby, myself, Craig, Neil, and Aaron. When I was 9, my parents felt that our family was not big enough, so they opened their home, became foster parents, and ended up adopting 3 more children: Bob with chromosome ring 13 syndrome, Justine with Down syndrome, and Walter with Williams syndrome. It was at equal times wonderful to have so many brothers and sisters, also chaotic. You can imagine the bathroom lines in the morning, trying to get showered and ready for school every day. But it was also at times, as I said, chaotic and challenging. And there were a lot of extra responsibilities as an older sister, high expectations and responsibilities that were higher than the age that I was. So youth programs like Girl Guides with my sister Justine, softball with my brother Bob, gave us moments to just have fun and to just be a kid. Also, living in Canada, we had the opportunity for free travel programs. I got to go to the Arctic, India, the West Indies, Quebec, opportunities that we wouldn't have been able to afford, but those gave me that chance to breathe, to have encouragement, and to believe in a life and world beyond my small town in Ontario. Getting my university degree was like being transplanted into a bigger pot. I also started learning that taking on leadership roles not only gave me confidence, but that sense of responsibility for others, being an RA, being a peer helper, being a camp director in the summers. And that led to all those early experiences, gave me the confidence to go move to England and be a teacher for students with autism, even though I didn't really have enough money to do it, but I believed I would get that job and slept on the floor for a few weeks till I could afford a mattress. But it ended up being an amazing opportunity. I got to travel all around Europe and the UK while I was there. Then something started that was very sad for several years and heartbreaking, but we lost my brother Walter, soon followed by my mother, and then my brother Bob, from complications from his condition, my mom to breast cancer. And just last year we lost Justine. And that taught me that the importance of living this one life we have fully and intentionally. I miss my mom every day. Our relationship was a bit complicated, and I often would look back and think what our life could have been like if we'd had more social services, more supports, more opportunities for kids to just be kids, and for my mom and parents to not feel alone. Some bright spots happened during that time as well. I married my husband David, who had 2 daughters, Sarah and Hannah. I moved to America to join him when our son Ben was 1 day old, right from the hospital, moved to Buffalo, New York. And we did have some financial challenges. You should probably plan how you're gonna work when you immigrate. But I eventually overcame my fear of driving, got a driver's license and a job becoming a career counselor for women in transition, including women who are widowed, divorced, receiving financial assistance. And it wasn't lost on me because it also helped with transportation that I was now mentoring women just like me and my mom. That taught me that just some workplace experiences that I had, I felt like I really wanted to be a leader so I could help impact the culture of an organization. And I got a job at a college with free tuition, earned my master's degree in leadership while helping Canadian students come to America and get their teaching degree. Within a few months of graduating, I got a job at Girl Scouts of Western New York as Senior Director of Program, giving back to an organization that my sister Justine and I had been part of in the Canadian side. And finally found a mentor who believed in me, gave me opportunities to grow. And I eventually stayed there 11 years, becoming the CEO. And in that role, I now had the chance to transform the workplace and be the leader and mentor that I had once needed, being able to shape policies such as 4-day work weeks so that women who take on the majority of unpaid caregiving could have a much more balanced work life, and parental leave and making it more flexible in the workplace. And I know that, thank you. I know we've heard a bit about hitting that stage in your life where you're ready for the next challenge, and I felt after the pandemic the Girl Scouts would benefit from a new leader with fresh eyes. And then something happened that I found a place that I had been searching for my entire life. A place where medical support, community, all came together in one place for families, Double H Ranch. And if anyone hasn't heard of it, it's up in Lake Luzerne, part of the Capital Region. This is a place where not only is it for children with serious illness that my 2 brothers would have qualified for, it also has partnership programs for women with breast cancer that my mom could have been a part of. Has grief support for those who've lost parents and loved ones. So just a perfect place where I felt like I'd really found a home. And you can see it's also very beautiful from that picture. That's at our lakefront. And in this role, being the second CEO in its now 33-year history, a chance to help give stability and ensure that we're there for the next 30 years and beyond, to make sure that no other family is ever without. And I also feel like I have the privilege of working with staff and volunteers that are the best that I've ever been part of in my whole life. This is my son, Ben, and I'm really proud to say he volunteered with me at New Family Weekend last year, and now is working his second summer at Camp Corey, a sister serious fun camp out in Washington State, so the legacy continues in our family as well. And I'm going to leave you on the last slide with my granddaughter, Gemma. And you never know the impact that you have on a child or someone in a program that you're volunteering with, but I'm standing here today as proof of I would not be here if there had not been people that had done that for me. So as young professionals, I'm encouraging you in your career, your philanthropy, your volunteerism, you have one life, and go out there and make that difference. So I'm encouraging you that what we tend today will bloom tomorrow. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone, we have made it to the end of our evening. We have one more presenter tonight, and trust me, we are ending on a strong note. The final presenter is me. Roll it. Just kidding. Our final presenter is so cool and fun. I'm incredibly excited to introduce you to her. Our last presenter is a national keynote and a TEDx speaker. She has such an incredible story to share. I'm not gonna spoil any of it for you, but she did tell me some really cool things about her. She has been on a game show and she lost horribly, but she had fun, and I didn't even put that in the script, but I feel like I needed to mention that. And also, she travels so much, she is self-proclaiming to be the best carry-on packer, and she can carry a pack-on in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. So inevitably, when the TV show comes on and it's like TSA Olympics, you know, after they get paid and everything, she wants to be your first round draft pick. So everyone, let's give a warm welcome to Erin Marks.
How you feeling? All right, we're still awake. Can we just have a round of applause for Amari as like the best MC ever? Raise your hand, yes! I will now be hiring you as my personal MC. Yes, all right, we're in. All right, you know what, let's just get into it. Let's do this. So I'm gonna start with a little speaker confession. 10 years ago, before one of my very first big keynotes, I was so nervous. There were 3,000 people in the audience. I had this pounding headache. So a few seconds before I went on, I reached into my bag, grabbed a Tylenol, and when I went to put it back, that's when I noticed the label. I didn't take regular Tylenol. I had taken a Tylenol PM. Instant panic. My heart started racing. I was sweating. My brain went into overdrive. Am I gonna start slurring my words on stage? Am I gonna fall asleep in the middle of this 45-minute keynote? Is everybody gonna think I'm drunk? Of course, none of that was actually happening yet. But my brain was fully reacting to what might happen. Because that's what our brains do. They don't wait for danger to show up. They respond to the possibility of it. Research shows our brains find uncertainty more stressful than hearing bad news. And uncertainty is one of the biggest stressors we are all dealing with, right? Both personally and professionally. I know what it's like to live with massive uncertainty because I was born with a fatal illness called cystic fibrosis. Doctors told my parents I wouldn't live past 18, but I made it to 35. That's when I entered end life stage, so hold your laughter now, and was dying. But I remember feeling grief, but more than that, gratitude for all the extra years of life I got to live. And at the last moment, as I was slipping away, a breakthrough drug was approved. Now you can clap. That saved my life. But I didn't expect for what happened next. It was relief and confusion. I was preparing to wrap things up, and suddenly I needed a 401k, a LinkedIn strategy, SPF in my moisturizer. You people been living like this your whole life? This is very, very stressful. It created this shift in identity and uncertainty about what I should do next. And you don't have to go through what I have to recognize that feeling. For you, it could be a role, a goal, a season of life that suddenly disappeared. And you're wondering, what now? For me, I realized everything I needed for this next phase to live, to really live, I had already learned while I was dying. The truth is, our lives are made up of one small line, a tiny dash between two dates. And what we do inside that dash, it matters. It matters what we do. So the next time that you find yourself in a situation of uncertainty, I want you to make the decision to decide what you want. Don't wait for a crisis to get clear. Ask yourself, what will still matter at the end of my dash? Then act before you feel ready. What's one bold move you've been avoiding? Take action on it and stack the reps. Most reps will not be perfect, but rejection, failure is just data. Use it to recalibrate to get to what you want. How you get what you want are habits. Habits build legacies. Big goals are great, but daily actions shape your dash. I'll share a habit that changed everything for me. On one of my sickest nights, when I wasn't sure if I would make it to the morning, I changed the name on my iPhone alarm to 4 words. You woke up today. It was a reminder, if I got to wake up, I may get to live another 24 hours. And I was gonna make them count. So here's my challenge to you as we close out this incredible night. When you go home, rename your alarm. You can make it a goal, a quote, a reminder, anything that pulls you forward before your feet ever hit the floor tomorrow. Something that reminds you you don't need certainty to make it count. You just need to keep moving forward inside your dash. That's how you bloom. You got this. I am rooting for you. Thank you.
All right, everyone, let's give a final round of applause to all 7 of our presenters tonight. That does conclude the speaking part of our portion. We're going to have Jen and Jordan come up here in a second. I am headed to Finn's Grill Dinner, $25, martini, Caesar salad, French fries, and I will be doing my own PechaKucha I'm going to make up right on the spot. So if you want to see me, I feel like I'm like, when you go to the Super Bowl and you're like, and I'm going to Disney. I'm plugging a local restaurant. I'm going to Finn's. I had so much fun tonight with you all. Our presenters were so awesome. And now, without further ado, I'll bring up the ladies. And that's all for me for tonight.
Thank you. What a night. So many stories, right? We got grit, community, resilience, never giving up, living life. And you know what the cool part is? We're here together in those, right? We're in our community. We can support each other and we can bloom. The cool part is repair all of our strengths and all of that support that we have seen, we have showcased now into each other, into the world. Then we get to live life the way we want to, and we get to help other people bloom and flourish. And that's why we're here. So whether this is your first PK or your many up number, it's my third.
I lost track.
Yeah, Jordan's been a veteran. Then we thank you for coming.
Before we wrap up tonight, I want to let you know what's next for YPN. We will have our closeout event for mentorship on May 19th. Everyone is welcome. You do not need to be a mentor or a mentee, though we hope all of those in the program do come. It will be breakfast and a little bit of networking and a keynote from a gentleman who is in the room right now. Jordan, please raise your hand.
Jordan Modiano.
Right in the back there. You have an excellent name, sir. This year we welcomed 128 participants to the mentorship program. And as you know by now, me and Jen are the chairs, so if you want to join that number next year, please reach out. We also have a social sits on April 24th in the morning at Little Peck's. It's just an organic networking moment, so if you can come out for that, please join us.
And one final thank you to our sponsors, the team here at Brown's Revolution Hall, Agora Media for all of the things, video, digital, coordinating. There's so many things that go into that. Heck Razor Productions for all of the photography, as well as you for coming. Our speakers, the hard job, someone has to do it. MC, Amari, another hard job, someone has to do it and bring the energy. So, with...
Thank you again for joining us tonight. The stories shared here prove that the Capital Region truly is in bloom.
Now, with that in mind, stay true to yourself. Let's grow together, support each other, and realize that we have this one life. We might as well live it.
I'd say stop.